Assalamualaikum. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Uh, Today I'm going to have another video on survey research. There is an introduction to survey research. Maybe I will have more videos on research. Most of the students doing master and also MPhil, they approached me from different social media and they asked me for the guidance of survey research. Actually, whether the students are at MPhil level or if there is some dissertation at master level, the first stage starts from a survey. Most of the students and also teacher, expert researcher, teacher, they give them survey research. So that's why when I received a lot of demands on survey research, so first you must know what is a survey research. This is one of the easiest methods of research. I consider it among research. There are difficult methods like experimental research, okay, like mixed method research. But survey research is one of the simplest one, and it's easiest also, and also less time consuming, and also cheapest. Okay, and not very expensive. That's why most of the students they like to do it at the early stage of master dissertation or MPhil thesis. So, what is the definition? Survey research is defined as the process of conducting research using surveys that researchers send to survey respondents. Okay, the data collected from survey is then statistically analyzed to draw meaningful research conclusions. Most probably, survey research is analyzed in SPSS software for their validity for their Cronenberg alpha, okay, and analysis are made. There are different types of analysis. That's another separate issue. But sometimes I will also guide you how to use SPSS for survey analysis. Okay, in the 21st century, every organization eager to understand that their customers think about their products. Okay. Or they think about their services and make better business decisions. Researchers can conduct research in multiple ways, but surveys are proven to be one of the most effective and trustworthy research methods in the world. Though it's not now accepted most of the universities for PhD because they need some other methods also in survey. But some of the American universities still on one survey they are issuing a PhD certificates. That's the degrees. That's the reality. An online survey is a method for extracting information about significant business. Any business met from an individual or a group of individuals, it consists of structured survey questions that motivate the participants to respond. So this is actually the method. Creditable survey, another form, can give these businesses access to vast information bank. For example, organizations in media, other companies, and even government rely on service research to obtain accurate data. And the traditional definition of survey research is a quantitative method for collecting information from a pool. So that's very important. There's a pool of respondents by asking multiple survey questions. This research type includes the recruitment of individuals, the collections and analysis of data. It's useful for researchers who aim at communicating new features, okay, or trends to their respondents. So this is one of the methods. Generally, it's the primary steps towards obtaining quick information about mainstream topics. That's why most of the researchers think it is easy to have a survey research because it's easy to form a survey. It's easy to collect data for a survey, okay, and then there are many situations where researchers can conduct research using a blend of both qualitative and quantitative strategies. Okay, that's also very important. When you go deep, you learn them. What are the methods we have to see used in survey? Okay, survey methods actually survey research method we can say can be derived based on two critical factors. What are these two critical factors? The first factor, which I personally think is survey research tool, and time. The second one is time to conduct a research. Okay, but there are three main research methods divided based on the medium of conducting survey research. Okay, so now we have to see what are these three methods. Okay, uh, so one by one I will describe them. You have to see them. Okay, number one, online, email. Well, nowadays, because of COVID-19, this is the easiest one. Online survey research is one of the most popular survey research method today. The cost involved in online survey research is extremely minimal, and the responses gathered are highly accurate. While sitting in Saudi Arabian University, I published 13 research papers. I managed most of them data during COVID-19 from different countries. I have friends from Malaysia, from where I was a student of PhD in applied linguistics. I manage it from Pakistan, where I have a lot of friends in the universities and colleges. Okay, and then I also in Gulf region, some friends they help me. So this is what online survey. You can do it on Facebook. You can do it through emails. Okay, there are different types of things. The cost involved is very less. That's why people like it. The second one is phone. Okay, survey research conducted over the telephone can be useful in collecting data from a more extensive section of the target population. There are chances that the money invested in phone surveys will be higher than other mediums, and the time required will be higher. So that's one of the thinking about this type of method. But there are some face-to-face. Now, due to COVID-19, very less people they are agreed on this type of. But before COVID-19, face-to-face were very popular. I did it in the Faisal University while sitting in the same university. For many research papers, I collected data from there. Researchers conduct face-to-face in-depth interviews in situations where there is a complicated problem to solve. Okay, the response rate for this method is the highest, but it can be costly. Because you have to move, you have to go, you have to wait for the people. Sometimes the people are not there. It happened to me. Sometimes when I went to the hospital, the people were not available. The nurses were not ready to. They were nurses. Somebody was on leave. So a lot of problems. The researchers have to face a lot of problems. The other method is, longitudinal. That's one of the oldest method. Okay, longitudinal service involves conducting service research over continuum of time, I think, and spread across years and decades. The data collected using this survey research method from one time period to another is qualitative or quantitative. Okay, both can be collected. Okay, what is qualitative? Interviews can be collected. Okay, can be done. Okay, and assessments can be done. What is quantitative? Quantitative is itself survey, experimental, whatever it is. Okay, so quantitative is survey itself because this is analyzed in SPSS, that is quantitative. Respondent behavior, preferences, attitudes are continuously observed over time to analyze reasons for a change in behavior of preference. For example, suppose a researcher intends to learn about eating habits of teenagers, for example. Okay, in that case, he or she will follow a sample of teenagers over a considerable period to ensure that the collected information is reliable. Often, cross-sectional survey research follows a longitudinal study. One of the things I had a research, for example, nowadays I'm working on research I have just completed, I'm trying to publish it. One of the patient, she was here in this region. She was a patient of sickle cell disease, and she was under observation since she was 9 years old, and now she is 11 years old. So this means she has been under observation for 3 years. So that's a type of, that's why it's called longitudinal type of survey. Okay, cross-sectional survey research is another example. Researchers conducted a cross-sectional survey to collect insights from a target audience at a particular time interval. Okay, this survey research method is implemented in various sectors such as retail, education, healthcare, SME businesses, etc. Okay, cross-sectional survey research can either be descriptive and analytical. It is quick and helps researchers collect information in a brief period. Researchers rely on cross-sectional survey method in situations where you can see descriptive analysis of a subject is required. Okay, and survey research also is bifurcated according to a sampling method used to form samples for research. There are different type of samples we can discuss later on. We can say probability and non-probability sampling. Every individual for a population should be considered equally to be a part of the survey research sample. Okay, probability sampling is a sampling method in which researchers, you must understand, chooses the elements based on probability theory. There are various probability research methods such as simple random sampling, systematic sampling, cluster sampling, okay, stratified random sampling, and non-probability sampling is a sampling method where the researchers uses his knowledge and experience to form samples. The various non-probability sampling techniques are convenience sampling, okay, snowball sampling, consecutive sampling, judgmental sampling, and quota sampling. Out of all of them, convenience sampling is very popular because it's cheap, it is not no more expensive, and you take the population according to your convenience. Okay, if you 100 available, you can take 100, no problem. If 10 available, you can do 10. Okay, so process of implementing research methods are also very important. First, you have to decide the survey questions. That's very important. Okay, brainstorm and put when you are making a survey. First, questions are very important according to your variable of the study. Brainstorm and put together valid survey questions that are grammatically and logically appropriate. Understanding the objectives and expected outcomes of survey helps a lot. Okay, there are many surveys where details of responses are not as important as gaining insights about what customers prefer from the provided options. Okay, in such situations, a researcher can include multiple choice questions to close-ended questions, whereas if researchers need to obtain details and about specific issues, they can consist of open-ended questions to questionnaire. Okay, so that's why you make a questionnaire where you have different types of categories of questions and divide them according to variables. And ideally, the survey should include a smart balance of open-ended and closed-ended questions. Use survey questions like Likert scale is very popular. Semantic scale is also popular. Net promoter score questions less popular, but people do it. Okay, to avoid the fence sitting. So that's one of the reasons. Another one is finalize a target audience. Okay, send out relevant survey as per the target audience and filter out relevant question as per the requirement. The survey research will be instrumental in case the target population decides a sample. This way, results can be according to the desired market and be generated to the entire population. If it is convenience sampling, not entire population. You take, for example, out of 500, you need only 50, you take 50. Okay. Another thing is analyze survey results. How? Analyze the feedback in real time and identify patterns in the responses which might lead to much needed breakthrough for your organization. Okay, that's one other thing. It's for example, survey has you have make 5 Likert scale and you analyze them. Researchers can use the results to implement corrective measures to improve customer or employee satisfaction. Okay, so while survey research is very popular, that question does arise. There are many reasons that survey research is very popular. People they conduct survey research. The most crucial and integral reason for conducting a market research using survey is that you can collect answers regarding specific essential questions. You can ask these questions in multiple formats as per the target audience and the intent of the survey. What is the intent of the survey? You are in a village or you have to get it from the school or hospital. So that's one of the reasons. Before designing a study, every organization must figure out the objective of carrying out so that study can be structured, planned, and executed to perfection. Questions that need to be on your mind while designing a survey rate you must have. For example, what can be the question? Number one, what is the primary aim of conducting the survey? That's one of the major basic reason, fundamental reason. How do you plan to utilize the collected survey data? There's the other one. What type of decision you plan to take based on the points mentioned, as I already mentioned. There are three critical reasons why an organization must conduct survey research. Critical reason. Number one, understand respondent behavior to get solution to your queries. Okay, is one of the reasons. If you have carefully curated a survey, respondents will provide insight about what they like about your organization as well as suggestions for improvement. That's one of the reasons the organization is conducting a survey. Second, present a medium for discussion. Okay, a survey can be the perfect platform for respondents to provide criticism or applause for an organization. The organization come to know about their weaknesses, about their success. Okay, important topics like product quality and quality of customer services can be put on the table for discussion on the results of survey. Okay, a way you can do it is by including open-ended questions where the respondents can write their thoughts. This will make it easy for you to correlate your survey to what you intend to do with your product or service. So this is very important for survey researchers. It's very popular in different organizations. An easy way to make a survey and then to conduct a survey online, and employees sitting in the office via email can reply. Strategy for never-ending improvements. What are these strategies? An organization can establish the target audience attributed for the pilot phase of survey research. Researchers can use the criticism and feedback received from this survey to improve the product services. Okay, any section of the organization can be targeted through a survey. Okay, for example, survey research can be within lower paid employees, within the officers, blah blah. Okay, what are the research scales? That's very important. There are four main research scales: nominal scales, ordinal scales, interval scales, and ratio scales. These four scales always used in a research. Okay, a nominal scale, the first one, associates number of variables for mere naming or labeling, and numbers usually have no other relevance. It is the best basic for four levels of measurement. Okay, ordinal scales are different. The ordinal scale has an innate order within the variables along with labels. It establishes the rank between the variables of a scale, but not the difference value between the variables. That's one of the reasons. That's different from the first one. But there is the interval scale. Okay, the interval scale is a scale, but not the difference value between the variables. Okay, this is one of the reasons. So I think the interval scale is a step ahead in comparison to other two scales, along with establish a rank and name of variables. The scale also make known the difference between the two variables. Okay, can be independent variable, dependent variable, two dependent variable, one dependent variable, one sub-dependent variable. It can be. Okay, the only drawback is that there is no fixed start point of the scale. The actual zero value is absent. That's one of the reasons. Ratio scale is the last category of scale. The ratio scale is most advanced measurement scale, which has variables that are labeled in order and have a calculated difference between variables. In addition to what interval scale orders, this scale has a fixed starting point. For example, the actual zero value is present. Okay, okay. Now, why people are conducting survey? Because there's some benefits of survey research. What are these benefits? In case survey research is used for all right purposes and is implemented properly, marketers can benefit by gaining useful, trustworthy data that they can use to better the repute of the organization. Okay, for example, they have a survey, what is the demand of a medicine? They come to know now Panadol is more demanded. So this is what they increase their business. So this is also some other benefit. Minimum investment, you don't need much money to build a survey. Okay, to develop a survey. Mobile surveys or online surveys have minimal finance invested per respondent, even with the gifts and other incentives provided to the people who participate in the study. Online survey are extremely economical compared to the paper-based surveys. Okay, versatile sources for responsive collection. For example, you can conduct surveys via various mediums like online and mobile survey. You can further classify them into qualitative mediums like focus groups, interviews, and quantitative mediums like customer-centric surveys. Due to the offline survey, responsive the response collection option also, where the researchers can conduct surveys in remote areas with limited access, okay, or limited internet interconnectivity. This can make data collection and analysis more convenient and extensive. Okay, reliable respondents, another one. Surveys are extremely secure as the respondents' detail and responses are kept safeguard. Okay, the anonymity makes respondents answer the survey questions. Okay, candidly and with absolute honesty. An organization seeking to receive explicit responses for its survey research must mention that it will be confidential. Okay, so this is what we are going to do for today. But there was one question about research survey design. There are different designs of research survey. Researchers implement a survey research design in cases where there is a limited cost involved and there is a need to access details easily. This method is often used by small and large organizations to understand and analyze new trends, okay, market demands and opinion. Collecting information through a tactfully designed survey research can be much more effective. So number one, I think 5 stages for this research design. Decide an aim of the research. Okay, this is the first stage. There can be multiple reasons for a researcher for conducting a survey research, but they need to decide a purpose for research. This is the primary stage for the survey research, as it molds the entire path of survey, impacting the whole results. Okay, filter the sample from target population. That's the second one. Who to target? That's the question. It is an essential question that researchers should answer and keep in mind while conducting research. The precision of the result is driven by who the member of a sample are and how useful their opinions are. That's also important. The quality of respondents in a sample is essentially for the results received for research and not the quantity. Okay, if a researcher succeeds to understand whether product feature will work well with their target markets, he or she can conduct survey research with a group of market experts for that product or that technology also. Zero in on a survey method. That's also many qualitative and quantitative research methods can be discussed and decided. Okay, what are they? Focus group, that online groups. Okay, online interviews, surveys, online polls, questionnaires can be carried out with the pre-decided sample of individuals. Okay, designing the questionnaire. That's very most important thing. How can you design a questionnaire? Okay, I told you in the beginning, you have the place. Okay, this is the place. This is the department, and then you have question number. For example, one question. How many sub questions? Variable one, variable two, variable three, variable four. Okay, that's where you decide. Like this way, questions you design. Different design. There are different designs of question. You can have many designs. What will the content of the cover letter be? It's also a question. What are the survey questions of the questionnaire? Understand the target market thoroughly to create a questionnaire that targets a sample to gain insight about the survey result topic. Okay, send out surveys and analyze results. Once the researcher decides which question to include in a study, they can send it across the selected sample to a selected type of place. Answer obtained for this survey can be analyzed to make product related to marketing related decisions and some other. Anything can be in education, can be in a hospital. Okay, I think these are. However, I can wind up now that uh, some design some tips to design the perfect research survey are: set your smart goals first, okay, and then choose the right questions. That's necessary, okay. After that necessary, begin your survey with a generalized question. Do not give a very difficult question in the beginning, okay. Go easy to difficult, okay. Enhance your survey. Prepare yes no questions. That's easy for you for the first survey. Don't go many multiple choice questions. Test all electronic devices. That's also very nice for you, okay. It becomes effortless to distribute your survey if respondents can answer them on different electronic devices like mobile, tablets. Okay, once you have created your survey, it's time to test. You can also make any corrections if needed at this stage. The next one is tip is distribute your survey. Okay, once your survey is ready, it is time to share and distribute to the right audience on time. You can share handouts and share them via email, social media, and other industry related offline, online communities. Okay. Next tip is collect and analyze responses. Okay. And then last one is prepare your summary report. Now is the time to share your analysis. At this stage, you should mention all the responses gathered from a survey in a fixed format. Okay. Also, the reader or the customer must get clarity about your goal, which you were trying to gain from the study. Questions such as whether the product or survey has been used, preferred, or not. Do respondents prefer some other product rather? Any recommendations you can give? That usually happens when we have a survey analysis. Okay, first you start introduction of your research, then you go for the background of the research, literature review, you analyze, you show you have good knowledge on the subject, and at the end you have and then you have results, survey results you discuss in table, in charts, in pie charts. Okay, there are different figures also you can discuss. Medical science you can discuss in figures like brain scans, like chest scans, like bone scans, and then you go for discussion of your results. After the discussion, you where you uh, compare your the authors, the citations, references you use for literature review. You compare here, and you prove that what you are saying is right. Okay, and then you go for recommendation. What can be the recommendation for future? When you see the survey results, what are the future predictions you are having as a researcher? Okay, maybe there are limitations. You could not do much data. Maybe there are something that was insignificant. Your research could not cover, and you research you suggest for future. Okay, and then you come to the conclusion. That's all about survey result, and this is everything for today. I hope so. You will subscribe our channel, and let's just I give you a discussion on survey result. Just an introduction of survey result. So inshallah, next video will be on experimental research that will be useful for you when you are using. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. Bye bye.